Credit is a really big deal and you want to fix yours. So today we're talking about how to fix a bad credit score. But first, I'm going to share why it's important to maintain a good credit score. Then I'm going to share with you actions you can take to fix your credit score step by step. Let's get started. Your credit score is a powerful tool to help you get ahead financially. However, it can also work against you. Lenders look at credit scores and credit reports to determine if you're eligible for credit cards, mortgages, car loans, and personal loans. If you have a good score, you'll likely be eligible for a wider variety of loans with lower interest rates, which will save you a lot more money in the long run. Now, if you have a bad score, you'll likely have a much higher interest rate, which will cost you a lot more money over time. You'll also likely receive less variety in loan options overall, and it's entirely possible that you might have your applications rejected altogether. So how do you fix this? The first step in fixing your credit is checking your credit report. Sometimes credit reports get confused with credit scores, but you just need to remember that they are two completely separate, different things. Instead, you can kind of think of a credit report as like a high school permanent record. Now, of course, this isn't high school, but we are talking about a record that is relatively permanent. Your credit report is a record of your financial habits over a period of 7 to 10 years. Some of the data on your report might even be from longer than that. When a lender looks at your credit report, they can see how many lines of credit you currently have, how much you currently owe, if you've missed any late payments, and if you sought any forbearance. Lenders can also see any negative marks like bankruptcy and foreclosure on your credit report as well. Now, hopefully you already have a pretty good idea about what's on your credit report. Still, it's a good idea to check anyway. Sometimes errors happen, and unfortunately, sometimes identity theft happens. The only way to know for sure is to check your report. Now, there are lots of places that are going to try and reel you in saying that they'll give you a credit report if you pay them a certain dollar amount per month. But the truth is, you don't have to do that. You can get your credit report completely for free. All you have to do to get your free credit report is to smash the like button for the algorithm so that we can keep showing these videos to the world. And you can visit www.annualcreditreport.com. The link for that website is going to be in the description below. Annualcreditreport.com is a joint effort between each of the three credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. They each create their own separate credit report for you. Usually these bureaus would try to charge a fee for you to access these credit reports, but by federal law, they're required to provide you one copy each once per year. Keep in mind though that during the COVID-19 pandemic, all three credit bureaus are offering weekly access to credit reports. At this time, there is no definitive end date to this policy, but just know that it can end and it probably will end. When that happens, it probably means that things will revert back to the once per year policy. So you may want to keep checking their website to see if they've updated this policy at all. And again, if you need to get your free credit report from Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, you'll want to go to annualcreditreport.com. That link is in the description below. So, did you find any errors? No? That's great. If you did find any errors on your credit report, you'll want to dispute those to get those removed. You can do this by writing to each credit bureau and explaining exactly what the error is on your report. You'll also want to provide any supporting documents that show why you think this is an error. You can file a dispute by directly contacting Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion online at their websites or by certified mail. According to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, the credit bureau that you wrote to must respond to your letter within 5 days if they found that your claim is frivolous, or in other words, a lie. If you don't hear from anyone in that time period, they must investigate your dispute. Once the investigation has concluded, they may find that the information was incorrect. In that case, they'll update the information on your credit report and inform the other credit reporting agencies. For more information on how to dispute an error on your credit report, you can visit the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau's website. I'll have a link to that in the description below. The second step to fixing your credit is paying off any late payments that you might have, if you have any. More importantly though, you want to avoid late payments altogether. You see, payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. That's over an entire third of your total score, and that means it packs a serious punch. If you miss even one payment, you can expect your credit score to drop significantly. And even if you pay off those late payments, they will continue to negatively impact your score for years. So again, I beg of you, please don't make late payments. The good news here is that late payments are not reported until they are at least 30 days past due. So if you're worried about a payment that's only 1 day late, you've really got nothing to worry about. Although you may get a late fee, you might want to try and call your lender to see if they'll remove that for you as a courtesy. On the flip side, once you have a 30-day late, things only get worse the longer you wait. You will continue to feel the pain for 60-day, 90-day, and 120-day late payments, and these will continue to crush your credit score. So what's the best course of action? Pay your late payments right away and continue to pay your bills on time every time. In this third step, you'll want to look at how much debt you're using, and you'll want to pay down any maxed out accounts. The second largest factor that makes up your credit score is amounts owed. This category makes up 30% of your credit score. Again, nearly a third. Now you may be worried that the total dollar amount you owe is what affects your credit score. Now that's not exactly the case. While the total dollar amount you owe may be considered, along with any credit cards that are close to being maxed out, it's the credit utilization that is really looked at a lot more closely. Credit utilization may sound fancy, but all it is a measurement of the total debt that you owe versus your total credit allowance. For example, let's say you have 3 credit cards. Each one of these cards has a $5,000 limit. This would give you a total credit allowance of $15,000. Now let's say you don't have a balance on one of these cards, but on each of the other 2, you're carrying a $500 balance. To find your credit utilization rate, we would take your total balance owed and divide that by your total credit allowance. In this scenario, we found that you're only using 6.7% of your total available credit. This is your credit utilization rate. For decades, financial gurus have suggested that you should keep your credit utilization rate under 30%. Many people take this advice as fact instead of looking at what it is, an opinion. And it might not be the best opinion, truthfully. It is true that if you already have a really high utilization rate, that if you knock it down to 30%, it will have a phenomenal effect on your credit score. Still, that's not necessarily the best advice that's out there. Instead, keeping your credit utilization rate under 10% may actually help you achieve higher credit scores. Though it's important to know that the Fair Isaac Corporation, the creators of the FICO score, specifically states on their consumer website that in some cases, a low credit utilization ratio will have a more positive impact on your FICO scores than not using any of your available credit at all. So, completely depending on your situation, of course, if you're thinking about not using your credit at all, you might not want to do that either. Overall, if you're looking for quick improvement in your credit score, try bringing your credit utilization down underneath 10%. Now, once you've cleaned up your credit a little bit and you find yourself in a good financial situation, you may want to consider investing. Webull makes it easy to invest in stocks, options, ETFs, crypto, all commission-free. You even have the option of opening up a regular brokerage account or a retirement account, such as a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA. You can also do both. Whatever you choose, you can get up to 12 free stocks when you open and fund your account with Webull. To learn more about Webull or to sign up to get your free stocks, go ahead and click the link in the description below. In step 4, we'll need to talk about accounts in collections. Accounts that are more than 30 days late have the potential to go into collections. There is no hard and fast rule for when a lender will sell your debt to a collection agency, but you'll likely receive more than one delinquency notice before this happens. And unfortunately, if your debts are sold to a collection agency, this can stay on your credit report for up to 7 years. Still, there are ways you can try to fight this. First, as I mentioned before, you can try to dispute any errors if there are any. Once you start a dispute, the collection agency will have to validate that debt. If they can't validate that debt, then they'll have to remove it from your credit report. Second, you can try to pay for removal. But if this sounds sketchy, it's because it kind of is. The truth is, collection agencies buy debt accounts at a fraction of their value. This leaves a considerable margin of profit for them, so it will give you a little bit of room to negotiate the amount you have to pay down. The theory goes that these collection agencies would rather make some money than no money at all. Still, even if you were to pay off your collections debt, it doesn't automatically remove it from your report. If you really want to remove it from your report, you can attempt to dispute it after you've paid off the account. Once you've initiated a dispute, the collection agency must validate the debt. The thing is, though, that the collection agency might not even respond to the dispute. Why would they? They have no incentive. They've already been paid. And if the collection agency does not respond to the dispute, then the account will be removed from your credit report. It's important to remember that taking action such as this can be risky. So always do your own thorough research before making any financial decisions, and consider asking the advice of a qualified, licensed professional. Finally, in step 5, we're going to need to talk about the two big bads: bankruptcy and foreclosure. More than anything else over the years, I've heard so many people talk about bankruptcy as a way to start over fresh and settle their debts. This is not the case. Bankruptcy, and foreclosure for that matter, is not a get out of jail free card. Both have very serious consequences that you have to deal for many years to come. In fact, both bankruptcies and foreclosures stay on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. They also both may prevent you from buying a house or car, obtaining any financing at all, and you might even get your rental applications rejected. These negative consequences can go on for as long as these negative marks are on your credit report. That's a really long time. And it's for that reason that declaring bankruptcy or allowing your home to go into foreclosure should be an absolute last resort. And unfortunately, unlike collections accounts, removing a bankruptcy or foreclosure from your credit report is a challenging task. Of course, if you see any errors, you can file a dispute. But even then, this can be a very difficult task. However, if there are no errors and you really did declare bankruptcy, or you really did fall into foreclosure, then there's really not much you can do. The best course of action for you to take may be to just wait it out and let these things fall off your credit report on their own. While you're waiting this out, you should be focusing on the things that you can change instead. Just by paying your bills on time, paying off any late payments, resolving accounts and collections, and disputing any errors that are on your report, you'll be making a huge difference on your credit report. And that in turn will make an enormous positive effect on your credit score. I truly believe that if you consistently take those actions, you'll be able to increase your credit score from a bad score to a good score as soon as you possibly can. So best of luck to you on your credit journey. I hope you'll share your successes below. If you want to see more great financial videos like this, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And if you haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button for the algorithm. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.